What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I am somehow still sick. I never get sick. I've been sick this whole damn week. I'm also sick with some of these plays here recently. After a really good start to the season, 8-3 on locks, we're in danger of losing 3 in a row here. We've lost both of them on Thursday. Only the one, Toronto, plus 8.5, plus 9.5. Well, not 9.5, plus 8.5 or plus 9, depending on when you got in on it. Kind of got a little bit of both, to be honest. But yeah, we're going to be sweating this one out at the end of this one. They were just down 18, Toronto was. Now they brought it back to 10. We are inside of 6.5 minutes left in that one. Scotty Barnes, can you take us to the promised land, please? Give me good news by the time everybody tunes into this thing, because again, I feel terrible. Anyway, we're going to continue on our merry way. Looking forward to this 7-gamer that we have here Friday. No days off. We suck it up. I'll have the weekend to recover, and I swear to God, if I'm still sick coming out of this thing, again, I am never sick, which is just oh no, I should take a nap. Producer Jacob's on hand. He's excited. He's going to take a nap while I talk here for a half an hour or something like that. But don't miss out. Don't take a nap on Bet365 for this Bet5. Get $150 in bet credits offer. It's only available in 6 states, that being Kentucky, Virginia, New Jersey, Ohio, Iowa, and Colorado. Sign up at one of those 6 states. Get $150 in bet credits at the link below. It's as simple as that. Do you want $150 in bet credits? All you got to do is bet $5. The worst that can happen is you're out $5. So take advantage of that at Bet365 if you're 21 and over, 18 and over in Kentucky. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But I'm going to save the rest of my voice here. Very unenthusiastic intros, things of that nature, but sweating that one. I really do like my plays for this card. I think this is the card that I'm the most comfortable with. And now I say that fully well, knowing that crazy news is popping up left and right. Markelle Fultz gets ruled out 15-20 minutes before that game starts here. That was a little bit frustrating. It might have been a little bit sooner here, but no longer playing in that Magic game where I got a half unit sitting on that. Now it looks worse. I think Lauri Markkanen probably torches them. I do like Lauri Markkanen a lot. Almost bet some of his props, but a lot of props in play here on today's card as well. Some that have been dropped, some that have not yet been. Most of those are going to be leans. I got a like-ish lock for you. I'm done talking. Let's just get to the picks here. Yes, producer Jacob. Let's just do what I just said. Let's get to the picks. There's some teams with a little bit of trouble in paradise. Now, I'm not going to go over the top and say that Cleveland's in massive trouble here long-term. It's going to get a little sweaty balls, SNL style. But Cleveland, defensively, they've been okay still 6th in adjusted defensive rating. But coming off of last season where we saw them at the top of almost every single advanced metric that there existed, they're down to 11th in the NBA, only a plus 1.6 adjusted net rating. Playing pretty slow again, 99.2 possessions per 48. That puts them 24th out of 30 NBA teams. And yet we have a 222.5 total because the Indiana Pacers like to get out and they like to run. Now, on the Cleveland side, you do get Jarrett Allen upgraded to questionable. First time we've seen that Q tag next to him. Darius Garland, it feels like he's questionable every day with this hamstring injury. Eventually he's going to play. This would be something where you wanted to jump in. And if you got that news to break your way on the Cleveland side, yay, the line is probably going to move itself to 4.5, 5.5. But massive piece of news, of course, with Tyrese Halliburton on the Indy side of things. I think I would prefer this play that I'm kind of leaning on if you get Halliburton in and you get Jarrett Allen out, because Jarrett Allen will slow down the pace. He's yet another enforcer. They have their Twin Towers thing, him and Evan Mobley, and their adjusted defensive rating. If you go back to 2023, that was the calling card. They were number 1 in all of basketball with a 110.4 adjusted defensive rating. That's the points you allow per 100 possessions, which is adjusted for strength of schedule. Hey, you're going to learn some advanced basketball analytics as we go along here. But Jarrett Allen in would be a little bit of a problem for me here. So I'm going to try to read the tea leaves. If we get any kind of news about a shoot around in the morning, I might react to that right away and try to jump in on this side of it. Because again, Jarrett Allen in, I would be looking at the under of this game. But as it stands, if you get Halliburton and Garland in, this is a really good bump for the over 222.5. I want the ball moving. I want the pace up in this one. And Indy, they're going to bring the pace no matter what. 104.8 possessions per 48 minutes, second best in basketball through their 4 games. So yeah, we're going to be leaning that direction, 222.5. But enough injury news here that is sitting, waiting. We got to make sure that we get this one right if we're going to fire it. off to Milwaukee, where I'm a little bit surprised based on what we've seen in the early going of this season that I would be interested in this. Milwaukee is going to be a public team because there is public interest. Books like that, they're 1-3 against the spread here on closing numbers and kind of convincing losses. It's weird to see Milwaukee struggle the way that they have been. Now, Scotty Barnes is playing on another planet, even in this game that may or may not get covered for us here on the Toronto side. He's playing really well. 12-point game, 5 minutes to go. My God, I am as if I wasn't sick enough. But 6.5 here for Milwaukee. I don't think that's enough. And let's talk through a couple of the reasons why. The Knicks, you have questionable RJ Barrett again, who I don't find to be like that prohibitive of a reason to be for or against this play. I think he kind of quietly plays decent enough defense. If you're Tom Thibodeau's dude and you're getting paid, you're probably okay defensively in some extent, unless you're just Derrick Rose and you're out there just doing Derrick Rose things. But rip to the GOAT. Those were some fun days, weren't they? Anyway, New York, without RJ Barrett here, I think this would be a little bit of an upgrade, ever so slightly. Again, I don't think it moves the needle in a prominent way, but Milwaukee completely healthy on the other side, and I kind of like this number at 6.5, so RJ Barrett out. You get Emmanuel quickly playing more minutes, which may or may not be a good thing. He's really good at basketball, just throwing it out there. And Milwaukee, you got Damian Lillard. He had some kind of a personal issue. Sounds like he's going to be just fine, and he is not on the injury report. So Friday, he is fully expected to play here. Chris Middleton, we've seen those minutes stay pretty steady, 16, 17, 17. Doubt he eclipsed the 20-minute portion here in this game. So it's kind of a bummer. You're seeing some interesting bench units with them. Now, Malik Beasley in that starting unit. Bobby Portis played okay last time out. Jay Crowder, not sure what his identity is going to be on this team besides just 3-and-D. That's what Jay Crowder does. He used to be a very strong winning basketball player. Curious to see if he still has it in the tank now that we'll extend his sample size after kind of a lost season where Phoenix didn't want a guy who I thought made them very, very relevant in the postseason. Again, those are the kind of wings you're looking for. The PJ Tuckers, the Jay Crowders. Those are, come playoff time, what we're really going to be focused in on. Who's got the most of them? Who can stay on the floor in the pick and roll and guard multiple positions? That's useful. This is a regular season basketball game with Milwaukee coming off of 2 absolute duds. Have you seen Giannis put up 16, 4, and 2 in 28 minutes? It's kind of embarrassing by Giannis's standards. I think they come out absolutely gunning. I think the rapport, it may not look as seamless as what it did in that first game, but they're starting to work through it. The Atlanta game, embarrassing. Miami, put the throttle down. Toronto, embarrassing. I think this is a put the throttle down spot yet again here. The Knicks, I think just like Miami, we're going to be betting against them frequently in the early going of this season as people adjust to last year's numbers. What are you looking at this year? I'm looking at a team that didn't get any better. They just didn't. Julius Randle, fewer minutes. They're at least getting some of these bench pieces involved. And again, Josh Hart's there for the whole time, but Obi Toppin losing him doesn't seem like much, but there's a reason he played over Julius Randle in some of those primetime spots in the playoffs. So I'm going to say Milwaukee minus 6.5. I like it. It's a half unit play. Nothing I'm going nuts on because Milwaukee, again, public team, a little bit worried, but I do think this line moves in our direction here. RJ Barrett, if he gets ruled out, maybe that's a half point. I don't know. 6.5 seems a little bit low for this Milwaukee team at home. Brought it up in the last segment, but Miami, they're a team that last season snuck their way in by way of the play-in game and then ran the table to the NBA Finals in surprising fashion. Do I think that this is the same team? No, I do not. There are a lot of reasons that I think Miami is worse, and it's not the Gabe Vincent, Max Strus combination necessarily, but it's Jimmy Butler another year and the playoffs on the tires. Bam Adebayo, young player, really love what he does all the time. I mean, he's not young anymore. We're not that young. It's from Wedding Crashers, if anybody cared. But anyway, we're looking at a Miami team that's also 1-4 against the spread. They continue to be overvalued in my estimation. But my God, anybody watch Washington and feel comfortable laying any amount of points, period, on earth with them? I sure don't. Now, Daniel Gafford, questionable for this one. I think that kind of matters. I think it's definitely a spot that I would like to see Daniel Gafford be able to have some of those minutes going up against Bam Adebayo because Washington is irregularly small. Is that the right way of putting it? They had to start Mike Muscala last time out because they realized they have some major issues on the interior, and Bam Bam could go completely Bam Bam Ham Ham in this one, if you ask me. an awesome opportunity for him to accumulate stats, do the double-double thing, although there's no way those odds are going to be useful. They're going to continue to have Caleb Martin out for this one. That's another piece that they're waiting to have back at some point in time. But Washington, again, just a small basketball team. Kyle Kuzma, he's always been a good rebounding wing, I would call him, but 7.3 rebounds per game. He's not exactly going to match up with any kind of a 5 here. I don't think they have the privilege of being able to go small and put him at the 5 like they did a time ago, where 2 games ago they started Coulibaly. So I am seeing Mike Muscala as the potential starter if Gafford is not in there. That's enough to make me want to lean this direction. But I will say, there's a potential for Kyle Kuzma to come along for the ride in the event that Daniel Gafford doesn't play. So I'm kind of throwing 2 things out here that I think could be in conjunction, and 10.5 is pretty wide against a Miami team that so far has been incapable of covering spreads, and 1 in 4 against them through 5. I don't know if that improves here until the public until the books adjust it, but the public, they're going to continue to back Miami. Think we kind of pivot here. Washington is a terrible, no good, very bad basketball team, but 10.5 against another Miami team that's overvalued. Kyle Kuzma to double-double plus maybe the Washington 10.5. Lots to consider here in this spot. I'm not positive where this one lands, but I think this is an intriguing game to potentially see a number. If it moves to 11.5, Daniel Gafford in, this could be fun. And Kyle Kuzma, I don't think he's out of the question of a double-double either way, but would prefer to have that one if Gafford's out. Again, a lot to kind of navigate. Kind of want to see the starting lineup for Washington too. This is going to be a wait-and-see approach. No wait-and-see approach here, friends. If you're in one of these 6 states, almost said Arizona. That is not one of the states. Colorado, Iowa, Virginia, Kentucky, New Jersey, and Ohio. Friends, bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets, or first bet safety net up to $1,000 in bonus bets, where you could bet up to $1,000 on a play and get $1,000 back in bonus bets if it doesn't hit. That is a phenomenal deal, but I know a lot of you. You're wondering, what is Bet365? Well, it's one of the more reputable sports books that exists worldwide, and it has now come stateside. They plan expansion at multiple other states. I hear that it's coming soon. I feel it coming. Going to be good stuff, friends, at Bet365. So maybe get access to as many sports books as possible, especially when your cost of being able to jump in here is just $5, and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets ammunition with it. So if you're in one of those 6 states, being Colorado, Iowa, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, and Kentucky, please take advantage of this at the link below or in the video description box below. Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you're 21 and over, 18 and over in Kentucky. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Brooklyn 4-0-0 against the spread, taking on the Bulls, who are not. We're going to put it that way. 1-4 against the spread so far. And Chicago, been a little bit disappointing. They will get another outing here out of Zach LaVine. He is now upgraded to probable here in this spot, coming off of that Dallas loss, where they did a great job containing Luka Doncic, and it didn't matter because, well, the Bulls are not a well-constructed basketball team. I love the pieces of Alex Caruso. DeMar DeRozan still has his utility. And Patrick Williams been relegated to a weird kind of situation where he's never going to be an offensive player. 0-for-5 from 3. Anybody who watched that last game, woof, he looks bad out there. But he's a strong defensive wing. He just can't be playing 25 minutes a game like last time. I understand why he is. You gave up that equity out of Florida State, and just hasn't worked out. A lot hasn't worked out. Ayo Dosunmu definitely has not worked out for the Chicago Bulls. Now playing low teens minutes here, rightfully so. Really bad offensively as well. But looking at the Brooklyn side, I'm a little bit nervous for my friend, producer Jacob over there, because, well, I haven't pulled the trigger on a Ben Simmons triple-double yet. We've had the double-double on the card, and we were early to the party on that one, and it felt really good. Through 4 games, he's double-doubled twice. Twice, he's put up double-digit rebounds in those. All 4 of them, actually, he's put up double-digit rebounds, but only had 4 points. So you're going to run into situations like that. But against this Bulls team, with absolutely no answer, and Patrick Williams, who's, not good offensively, who's probably going to be low 20s minutes, this is a spot where I think we do pull the trigger on anything better than 10-1 on triple-double for Ben Simmons. Now, there are some numbers that we have at sportsbooks for different things. Again, I was told 11-1 was the prevailing number over at DraftKings. I plugged that in the old machine, but again, it was like right around 9.5, 10-1 I wanted for it. Don't forget to build out the single game parlay 10-10-10 10-10-10 in FanDuel and DraftKings. Rin 10-10 K9 Cop, but not 9-10. That's what we're going for. Ben Simmons is doing everything offensively for this team in terms of creation. He is not doing everything offensively in terms of shooting. He did confirm switch his shooting hand again. I'm losing my mind watching this, but you know what? Fuck it. He can dunk the ball 5 times and we'll get there. Probably won't make a free throw, but Spencer Dinwiddie, questionable for this one. I want him out for this one. You have Dennis Smith Jr., questionable for this one. Would like him out too, but there are a lot of iterations where I think Ben Simmons, even in a limited sample size against the Chicago Bulls defense, that adds nothing in terms of stopping his ability on the glass. Ben Simmons to triple-double. I think this is the time where we finally have value based on what we've seen so far. Want to talk value? This one could end up being an absolute nuke lock, fire it to the moon, knocks in a moon, mummy style type play. Golden State Warriors, Oklahoma City Thunder. We're talking -5 here on the Golden State side of things. And the massive piece of news that you must know up front, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out. This would be a much closer spread if you didn't have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out, because obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is freaking good at the game of basketball. So far this season, averaging right around 25, 7, and 7. Does everything for this team. But you go back in time, because we have enough of a sample size now with Josh Giddey, where we can see exactly what we're about to run into. And his assists, where he's been sitting right around 4.4, sees a massive bump absent Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He becomes the primarily ball handler in a lot of these situations. And Chet Holmgren is a really fun pick and roll dance partner from time to time. Now, hasn't been finishing at the rim nearly as much. He is complacent to sit out on the three-point line a little bit too much. But we saw 37 minutes out of him against the Pelicans, which is such an encouraging sign. He had played 25, 24, 26, and 31 minutes. That was the order of things until this point. We're 37 minutes against the Pelicans. So in a competitive spot, which Golden State being on the road here, that projects out to be, I think Giddey's assist rate is going to take a noticeable bump. Now, I haven't seen the triple-double odds, and I would be a little bit remiss to throw that out there, but he's a decent enough rebounder as it is. Hasn't quite hit double digits in any column here in rebounds or assists yet, but you go back to last season's numbers, there are plenty of opportunities for him to go out and clean the glass. And Chet Holmgren, for being as tall and lanky and ridiculous as he is, he's only averaging 7.2 rebounds per game in these 28 minutes per game. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where maybe you get more Chet, the assist rate can go up, and I feel better about the pick and roll situations. Maybe Chet plays less, and you have a chance for him to hit in rebounds. And that is why I'm targeting in on a double-double for Josh Giddey. Yeah, Golden State side, you get Draymond Green there, completely healthy. No idea how to go about projecting that one. But OKC, definitely feel like this is something that you want to jump on early. Get in there, double-double season. You know what's kind of ironic is we've literally talked about a double-double for Kyle Kuzma. FanDuel, by the way, massively undervalued constantly. Josh Giddey, looked at that double-double. Ben Simmons talked through the 36 triple-doubles that he's had for his career. Well, we didn't talk through that. We talked about him being set up for potentially one against Chicago, barring some news. Again, that's why it's a lean as it stands right now. But ironic that we have kind of our triple-double dance partners here. Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic going at it here in this one. I'm excited for this from a real basketball perspective. From a real basketball perspective, I do want to kind of see Kyrie Irving into this one, don't you? I want to see these teams fully operational here. And yeah, we're still looking at Maxi Kleber as somebody who's dinged up. He is now questionable for this game after playing just 4 minutes against Chicago. He had to leave early from that one due to a right foot injury. There hasn't been a lot of information on his status. He's somebody who matters from a real basketball perspective, as a reason that I'm a little trepidatious to go out of my way to back this. But there's no doubt to me that this is a middled line. Well, I've talked about middling multiple times, but this is when a book says there's a massive piece of injury news. You want to take a point or two here? Sounds good. You want to take a point or two there? Sounds good. But this is a dead middle between where the line would land if Kyrie Irving was in, which is where it would be like +5-ish, and then where he'd be out, +7.5, +8-ish. It'd be somewhere in that region for sure. And I do like what we've seen from Dallas with, Luka Doncic did not play well against the Bulls. 40 minutes, only 18, 10, and 7. That is like not Luka Doncic-ish, but you saw a team collaborative effort, 114-105 there in that one. Really like what we're seeing from Tim Hardaway Jr. as an offensive catalyst. That was the piece that kind of, again, he can really do a lot for them if he is doing great work off the bench, constantly, and they still have been starting Josh Green here, even in the absence of Kyrie Irving. I like Tim Hardaway as a piece off the bench for this team. You can stagger a little bit there with Luka's minutes because he's another ball-dominant guy, that's for sure. And Grant Williams, we've made fun of him forever. But Grant Williams looked really good the last couple. 4 for 8, 7 for 9 from 3. That is unsustainable shooting, but Boston fans, they'll be unhappy to know that he's shooting 55.2% from 3 in the early going of this season, 54% from the field in general. This is kind of a Grant Williams step up, and this is maybe not something that you can read too much into, but obviously there were enough wings to go around. When you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're obviously the priorities in Boston. Grant Williams, if he is knocking down shots, is a very useful piece because you go through some of his EPM numbers, he looks really good defensively all the time. He is 73rd percentile from defense last season. He was 80th percentile his rookie season, 82nd percentile in 2021-2022. Had a lot of injuries, a lot of issues there in 2022-23. They kind of make that a little bit wonky, although that was the season that he played 77 out of 82 games. So maybe he wasn't as dinged up as I remember, but the fact remains, playing 31 minutes a night now in the rhythm of the offense on a team that doesn't necessarily need to be moving the ball with pace, even though they've played at a faster pace relative to previous seasons this year. Again, they're dead middle of the road, 101 possessions per 48. I think this is kind of like that sweet spot where if you can get Kyrie Irving back, Denver, as good as they've been, we did see those blemishes, said that was the trappiest line I've ever seen in my life against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Glad we didn't pull the trigger there. Really wanted to, but didn't. And then my team won, and I actually was able to be happy about it because I didn't bet Denver. But we're going to bet Dallas here against Denver. Yes, on the road. Yes, primetime event. But yeah, maybe Jokic comes back, plays really, really well here. Wouldn't surprise me. But both of him and Jamal Murray got a little bit dinged up in the last game. They are both probable, so I don't expect any funny business here. But Dallas plus 6.5. If you get Kyrie back, you're in a really good spot. Calling it a lean, but I might pull the trigger as soon as we're off this show because I will live with the result. Because I think Denver, that bench, I'm still not believing it, Reggie Jackson. Still not believing it. And we've reached the absolutely disgusting portion of the program. I said I had a like-ish lock. A like-ish lock. You got to be a little trepidatious on this one. But we're going to do it here. Memphis going up against Portland. Obviously, Memphis, what in the absolute world are you doing? 0-5. Worst record in basketball right now. Portland actually has 2 wins on the board here. 2-3 in their young season, given they have not really played anybody. But Portland, in general, getting a little bit healthier, starting to figure it out. And one big piece, Scoot Henderson out. I will argue that Scoot Henderson has been the most disappointing rookie relative to expectations so far this season. Has anybody watched him play basketball? It has been stone cold atrocious. He has no court awareness, no court IQ, has turned the ball over ad nauseum, at least 3 turnovers in every single game, despite 3 of those playing 26 minutes or less. I am floored at how much he has struggled so far this season based on what we saw in Summer League, into the preseason. I have no idea where this is coming from, but sometimes the game speeds up. Takes a little bit of time for kids to get acclimated. Am I that worried about him long-term? Not yet, but he sprained his ankle. He'll be out for this one. And I think more minutes right now of Malcolm Brogdon rather than a developing Scoot Henderson is probably a good thing. You get Matisse Thybulle in that starting lineup. You saw guys like Toumani Camara have to play some actual minutes, 26 minutes. He was inactive there, but a decent enough defender. Not that Scoot isn't. That's one of the things he will be better known for going forward. Just got to learn to keep his hands to himself too. But Shaedon Sharpe, after getting dinged up, he is probable for this game with that right thumb injury. That is a good sign here for Portland. As for Memphis, I don't know what to make of it. John Morant obviously not being there is not ideal. But in a million years, I did not expect to see Memphis as only -1 in Portland with these 2 rosters as they're currently constructed. But I think it's warranted. Marcus Smart, this is a problem right now. Him and Desmond Bane cannot play in a 2-way game. And if you're going to have Marcus Smart shooting 34.3% from 3, it's not a perfect situation here for Desmond Bane, who's trying to create offense. He himself is only shooting 35% from 3, has to see a drastically increased percentage from that and just overall better play here. But when you have to play Zaire Williams 30-ish minutes a night here, again, 31, 34, 33 minutes a night, he's not ready for that kind of a workload. You have no bench behind him. Luke Kennard couldn't guard you or me, although he did lead the three-point. He's been an amazing three-point shooter the last couple seasons. 2 seasons ago, led the league in true shooting percentage for what that's worth. Xavier Tillman looking a little bit out of sorts there on the floor as well. I don't think Memphis is this bad, but I do think Portland, without Scoot, this is quietly an upgrade based on his play in the early going this season. Think this line's a little bit off, and you're going to give me plus 110. I'm going to take this money line. I think this is incorrect. I think you could have this at minus 110 on both sides, and I wouldn't bat an eye. So it's a like-ish lock purely because I understand how terrible Portland is, and I don't want you to be mad at me. So you get the dealer's choice. Half unit for Portland or a full unit like me. Enjoy. Give yourself some options. It's your money. I'm here to give you the best advice I possibly can every single day. Here to try to help you develop the tools to be able to look over at OddsShopper, use the market-based approach, and then use some of your own research to your advantageous self. Like, let's just make some fucking money. Bet Portland. There we go. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays here on Friday. I'm hoping by next time I talk to you here for, tomorrow I'm going to be recording NFL Lindy's, that's for sure. We've got week 9 coming down the pipeline. It is grotesque. It is ugly. You will not believe the football that exists on Sunday until it is here. Going to be breaking down all of those games, all 12 of them on the Sunday slate. Yes, we're going to Germany to go have beer. And then we're going to be doing 10 games in the main slate and then evening football. And 12 games. I can do math. I can count. I can also count on you guys. Bet 5, get 150 in bet credits at Bet365. If you're in the great states of Kentucky, Virginia, Ohio, New Jersey, Colorado, and Iowa, if you're 21 and over, 18 and over in Kentucky. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That does it for me, friends. I will be hopefully rested, ready to rock here for you next week. Premium Discord, you can sign up for that below as well. But let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. See ya in the NBA streets on Friday.